Well, Craig, here you are. You've made it to the coffee chat. You delighted to be here?
This is a high point in my career, Lewis. Getting to sit down with you on a one-on-one. So it's listen, I've watched them, and I think it's nice to sit with players and staff and almost get a little bit of an insight of, you know, how they're feeling, the role within the club, and also we'll speak about the good things. So yes, it's nice to be here.
Exactly, yeah. And there's obviously a busy week for you in particular and all the boys, and I assume everyone's getting excited for it now. Craig, how are the boys feeling?
Well, they are. It's something different for them. You know, I said that to you yesterday after the game, that it'll be a different week. There'll probably be a little bit of media speculation. It won't be huge, but it almost gives them a little taster of what's ahead, which is why we continue to try and drive them. We want them to drive themselves as well, because we know what's at the other side for them. You know, how much they can enjoy themselves, how much they can be in the limelight, playing somebody's first team. So this is almost a taster week, and you almost hope at the end of it that they come out of it and think, I would like a little bit more of that. So it will be a good week. You know, we're looking forward to it, and let's hope they can do themselves justice.
And of course, going up against first team opposition, it's something that they'll surely get psyched up for and ready to, and they've proven that they can go against some of the best teams.
Yeah, well, some of them have played against first team players before. Some of them have played in our first team. Some of them are on loan. So it's that whole additive that we want to take them out of their comfort zone. I think that's the phrase that I've used continually. We want to put them into an environment where they have to go and fend for themselves effectively. You know, you put them on our first team and there's a few first team boys who look after them and protect them a little bit, you know, and they can go through spells in the game and do okay. Whereas when it's them within their own environment, they have to do it themselves. And someone has to take a little bit of responsibility and try and galvanise the team as well. So it's almost just to see who's got a little bit of leadership qualities too. So it's exciting, of course it is. You know, they want to be professional football players. I'm desperate for them to be professional football players, and this is just another game along that way.
Well, we started off with you having that joke about it's been one of the highlights of your career, but speaking about your career, Craigs, and how things are going with the reserves at the moment, you must really be pleased with what you're achieving so far.
I am. Listen, you're only as good as your players. You know, and you can be the best coach in the world if you haven't got the players to back it up. So, you know, we try and give them as much information as we possibly can. They'll probably tell you I'm a pain in the backside and I'm grumpy, and I am, because I just always feel that we can do better. And people say, well, you're never happy, you should be happy. Well, yeah, you're happy for an extent, but you know, having been there myself and knowing what you can get out of a career. Listen, I was a limited player, I know that, but there's players in that dressing room who are far better than I ever was at this age, and you're trying to point them in the right direction. You're trying to give them a little bit of, not inspiration, but you just want to try and support them along the way. And I don't want them to think it's too late after they've left. I don't want them to leave the football club and think, I should have listened, or maybe I should have taken that on board. I want them to do it while they're here, which is why I'll never give them a minute's peace, because I want to drive them as much as I possibly can. And that's where I get my satisfaction. I think over the period I've been here 3 years, we've had 11 or 12 debuts. And I'm telling the players in that dressing room, you will get a chance at this football club. Of course, at the minute, first team results are tough, but the manager will give you a chance. The manager will put you in somewhere along the line. Just make sure you're ready for it, and that's the kind of whole point of it.
And through your career, Craigs, when you were playing, it probably was your desire, your application that got you to the high levels you got, and you see that rubbing off on the boys. You just have to look at the likes of Alan Campbell, his attitude, and the boys coming through. They kind of share that desire, don't they?
It's funny, I was thinking about that coming along today, and you know, some Motherwell fans may remember Simo Valakari. Simo was a Finnish international that came here, and he was the best professional I'd ever saw before. You know, he lived right, he ate right, he was always in the gym, never took a day off. So what I thought I would do, I attached myself to him. I became friends with him, and I thought, I want to do what he's doing. So I want the young players to attach themselves to someone like Alan Campbell, like Chris, who's came through. And I look at the ones who have progressed, and they've done that. You know, they've taken control of their life really, away from the pitch. Not just that training. They've lived right, they've eaten right, their body fat's right. You know, the weight they've put on. David Turnbull's the next one ready to go. You know, suddenly David's put on, I think, 12 or 13 kilos since he came into the club, which is almost 2 stone. You know, so that's him taking responsibility. And I just want the rest of them to try and do it. They won't all play on our first team on a regular basis, but we want to try and get as many as we possibly can. So, trying to teach them the right habits, trying to point them in the right direction. From your own experiences, you're right. You know, that's what I had to do. I had to try and do things different, because I wasn't as good as anyone else. I wasn't as good as other players. I'm not looking for sympathy. That's just what happens. That's what life. You know, we can't all be the same ability. So there's ones with better ability. I'm thinking, go on, be different, put yourself out there. It's a tough challenge having to do it. You just have to speak to Andy Bowles of sport. You know, strength and conditioning. We're always trying to drive them. We're always trying to ask questions. Some listen, some don't. But that's all we can do.
And it probably makes it all the more rewarding when they do get into the first team and they do start proving themselves and they're worth at that sort of level.
Well, that's what you want them to do. You know, you want them to experience that feeling of going to a game that their parents are coming to watch, their girlfriends or whoever it may be, and they're playing in a first team game, and there's an actual crowd and it means something, and there's a little bit of pressure. I think all former players tell you that's something they miss, is that build up to the games, you know, the anticipation of what might happen. So that's something I want them to experience. I don't want them to go and play at a lower league club and get that experience in front of 300 people. I want them to get it in front of 5, 6, 7,000 at Fir Park, and that's what we're trying to give to them. Some will listen, some will take it on board. As I say, some will leave the club and think, if only I'd listened. I'm not saying I'm always right. You know, I'm just trying to pass on my experience to them. I'm right most of the time.
Exactly.
No.
For all the boys watching.
So that's what you're trying to do. That's all you can do for them.
Of course. And well, Sligo will be an interesting game, Christ. What do you expect from them at the weekend?
I was overseeing them a couple of weeks ago. They're not a senior team as in who are full of really experienced players, but they're a team who are probably mid-early 20s, but they've got good games under their belt. You know, they've had their experience themselves. They'll enjoy coming to Fir Park. The pitch is magnificent, the stadium's in good condition, so they'll see it as a game they can win to get into the quarter-final. I think we can certainly be competitive in the game. I think they've got enough within the young players, if they can all stay fit, that they can go and compete. And that's the one thing you want to see. Can they compete physically first and foremost? Can they go and stand up to the challenge of playing against a team who playing a competitive football every single week? That's the first and foremost. Can they show the composure to control the ball and still play their same game under that kind of pressure? And then can they excel and be better than their opponent? So that's all the kind of things we'll be looking at. Of course, you get engrossed in the game, we'll think about the game. But if we can almost look at those individual battles, probably after the game we'll look at that. But you get a sense that, probably a sense among them, Lewis, that they're excited. They're talking about it, they've been speaking about it for 2 or 3 weeks. And yesterday's game against Queen of the South was just, I don't mean it was a game in the way, but we knew what was after it. We now know what the clear path is towards Saturday. So I expect a bit of excitement, I expect a bit of nerves, but that's all good.
That's all good, and we look forward to seeing how it pans out the weekend.
So,
cheers for that, mate. I appreciate it. Top man,
Cheers.
Craigs.